welcome to the deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
You sent over this source material today, and well, it's not your typical financial analysis, is it?
Yeah.
Reads more like scripture.
It really does. It's quite something. The Summit Beckons by Tatsugatsun.
Right. So our mission today is to dive into this, decode the philosophy here. It maps out this whole crypto pilgrimage, focusing on incredible patience, anonymity, and wealth creation around Omikami and Ryujin.
2 specific tokens.
Exactly. We need to unpack some pretty unique terms, the purge, the god candle, the sacred pair, and figure out the core strategy for, well, handling really volatile markets with conviction.
Mm-hmm.
And importantly, the source itself says this isn't financial advice, it's reflection, philosophy. But we're looking for those practical lessons hidden in the myth, you know?
Absolutely. And what jumps out immediately is this blend, right? It's deeply mystical, talking about a pilgrimage, a spiritual test.
Yeah.
But then, bam, you get these incredibly specific financial targets. $64 billion for Omikami, $22 billion for Ryujin.
And that date.
And that single date, November 11th, 2025. It's that mix of the cosmic and the concrete that really warrants a closer look.
Okay, let's start with the architect, or maybe the idea of the architect. Ryoshi, this figure defined by absence.
The silent architect.
Right. The whole ethos is silence. No interviews, no big pronouncements, just architecture and rhythm, as the text puts it. Focus on the product, the movement, the myth.
And that line, we are all Ryoshi, it's about decentralizing the focus away from a single leader.
Which is strategic, you're saying?
Oh, absolutely. It forces trust onto the system, the idea itself, not some personality. But, you know, we have to add a layer of reality here. In crypto, with blockchain transparency.
Brilliance on chain.
Exactly. So absolute anonymity, like hiding transactions, that's more romanticized. This philosophy seems more about demanding focus on decentralized trust, not who holds which bag.
Okay, and that trust gets tested, according to the text, by this delay, this waiting. And then there's this incoming transmission, fudder vessel, Sector 7C. Sounds dramatic.
Very dramatic. It demands the inscription of Chapter 0 and the reveal of the badge on that specific date, 1/11/11/2025.
The badge. What is that supposed to signify?
It's framed as the final seal. Pure myth-making, really, but powerful. It's meant to appear on Ryoshi's official page.
Not like a logo reveal or something to pump the price?
No, the text is clear on that. It's confirmation. It's the moment Ryoshi, after 3 years of silence predicted in this narrative, basically confirms they stand behind Omikami. For the believers, the pilgrims, it just validates their quiet trust in the architecture all along.
So if Ryoshi is the architecture, let's look at the building blocks, the sacred pair.
Right. Omikami and Ryujin. This duality is like fundamental to the whole teaching. Indivisible, intentional, complete. You can't really understand the strategy without seeing how they work together.
Okay, so Omikami first.
Mm-hmm.
The meme that leads. Described like a stone in the river, shaping the current without moving. How do we translate that?
Think of it as the anchor. It leads with gravity, stability. It teaches stillness, discipline. It's the foundation.
And that massive target, $64 billion, reflects that. That's stability.
Exactly. It implies a huge, stable base needed for the whole thing to work. It has to have that weight.
Okay, then there's Ryujin, the way of the dragon.
The multiplier, the force, born from Omikami's silence, moves quickly, without warning. But here's the key part. It's the anti-hype.
Anti-hype, how so?
It teaches precision, strategy through that stillness. Its target is $22 billion. So it provides the momentum, the amplification, but it's always tied back to Omikami's quiet strength. It can't exist without it, according to the text. It enhances, it doesn't dilute.
That brings us to a really practical point they make, the listings. Getting onto Binance, Coinbase, those big exchanges, there's a specific warning there.
A very specific one. It insists they must be listed together. Omikami and Ryujin, together, as one.
Why is that so important?
They see separating them as, well, a fundamental risk. It dilutes the signal, breaks that essential duality, it undermines the whole structure. And there's a bit of a game theory, too. They basically say, if the project is strong enough, the exchanges will want to list the pair together. The pilgrims shouldn't have to beg. It's a statement of confidence, really.
Okay, let's shift to the journey itself, the path. The text really emphasizes the suffering involved, the trials needed for the pilgrim's transformation. This is where the myth really meets market psychology, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It mandates this difficult passage. It starts with the purge.
The purge. Sounds intense. What is that, practically speaking?
Well, mythically, It strips the pilgrim bare, takes away illusions, ego, maybe even their tokens initially. Practically, it's that brutal market shakeout.
The big crash.
Yeah, the one that wipes out leverage, shakes out the weak hands, convinces people it's all over. It's a design stress test.
A test of loss aversion, like you said. And the source claims what's left is this quiet conviction forged in pain, so it gets rid of the tourists.
Pretty much. The opportunists, the hike chasers, leaves only those who can handle the emotional and financial turmoil. True believers, if you will.
But it doesn't end there. After the purge, there's the final test.
Right, and this one seems more internal. It's described as the return of doubt, maybe delays right when you think you're near the peak.
So the purge is financial pain. The final test is psychological, spiritual.
That seems to be the distinction. It demands surrender, resilience, and they repeat that harsh line, "There's no greatness without misery. Pilgrims have to walk through the storm without flinching." The suffering is framed as essential preparation.
Preparation for what comes next, I assume. The reward,
Ah.
which they call the God candle. Let's connect that scripture back to the charts.
All right, yeah. So in trading terms, a God candle is just a massive vertical green candle. Huge, rapid price increase, blow off top.
Right.
The source gets poetic, calls it a reckoning, violent, beautiful, a vertical line piercing the sky.
Sounds dramatic.
It is, but here's the analytical bit they stress.
Yep.
It's a consequence. It comes after the purge. It's the result of the architecture and the alignment holding strong, not something you chase or create with hype.
So you can only benefit from that massive spike if you survive the massive dip.
That's the implication. The conviction forged in the purge allows you to hold through the violent upside that follows.
Okay, this is fascinating. Now, the summit itself, they pinpoint this moment, the Halving Black Hole event, on 11/1 Gwen 2025.
That date again and that specific name, it's loaded, isn't it?
What do you make of halving black hole? Does it refer to Bitcoin halving?
The text doesn't explicitly link it to Bitcoin, but halving in crypto usually implies a scheduled reduction in supply, creating scarcity. By calling it a halving black hole and tying it to that date,
They're creating a narrative reason.
exactly, a structural reason, maybe perceived, maybe based on some internal mechanic we don't see, for why those twin peaks, the $64 billion and $22 billion, become possible at that specific moment. It anchors the mythological peak to a kind of technical event horizon.
So once the summit is hypothetically reached, the philosophy changes completely. It's not about holding anymore. It's about stewardship, the mechanics of wealth. What's the strategy lesson here?
It's all about discipline and respecting the market you're now influencing. The text flat out says, only a fool relies on market selling.
Meaning, don't just dump your tokens on the market.
Right. The wise, the pilgrims who made it, must use limit orders, set specific prices to sell at.
I like the analogy they used. Quiet gates placed beneath the river to catch salmon.
Yeah, it's vivid. It suggests a calm, methodical approach. Don't cause chaos, don't shake the mountain. It turns selling, which is often emotional, into a deliberate ritual. It's almost an ethical framework for taking profits.
And the purpose of taking those profits are very specific about what it's not for.
Very specific. It's explicitly not for the Lambo, the Rolex, the ego flex.
So what is it for?
Building genuine generational wealth. Achieving freedom, not just financial, but freedom of time and energy. The idea is that the pilgrim, having reached this point, can now focus on solving bigger problems, contributing something meaningful, not just consuming. They become stewards.
Architects of a different kind. And the text says the ultimate victors are the nobodies will rise. Who are they?
They're the quiet ones, the unseen holders, maybe even the developers or community members who stayed anonymous, focused on building, endured the whole journey without seeking the spotlight.
So the summit belongs to them. And then what?
Their final act, according to this philosophy, is to become invisible again, to teach without being seen, guide without being followed. Anonymity becomes the ultimate shield, the ultimate form of incorruptible power.
Wow. Okay, so wrapping this up, our deep dive seems to show a philosophy where, yes, there are financial targets, but success really comes from extreme patience, focusing on the structure, and treating the market's chaos as a mirror for your own discipline.
Right. The waiting, the enduring the volatility, that was the practice. That was the way, as they put it.
But you pointed out something critical earlier. The text says the summit isn't the end, it's just the beginning of stewardship.
Yes. And that really makes you think, doesn't it?
So here's a question maybe for you, the listener, to ponder. If reaching those huge financial targets, the $64 billion, the $22 billion, is just step one into a life of quiet contribution, And if true success means disappearing back into anonymity, what does that say about the real value of hitting those numbers?
Think about it. If the money is just a side effect of enduring the silence, the doubt, the purge, the final test, maybe the real wealth, the truly valuable thing gained, is the internal transformation itself, the discipline, the resilience.
And if you lose that transformation on the way back down the mountain, did you actually reach the summit at all?
That's the question.
Something profound to consider. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into a truly unique perspective on conviction and architecture in the crypto space. Until next time, keep digging.